now with Bibi Netanyahu, the former Israeli Prime Minister and the former ambassador to the United Nations here in the United States, a very familiar figure, of course, to American television audiences. Mr. Netanyahu, I just want to pick up on what you were saying when you were talking metaphorically about aircraft carriers and the United States having to get them if they're going to win in this war against terrorism. You began that statement by talking about the connection between the PLO and terrorism. You're not suggesting that the United States is going to have to go after the PLO as well.
No, I think we can handle that. I mean, but President Bush said correctly that you have to root out not only the terrorist organizations, but also the regimes that harbor them and give them safe haven. As a point of fact, Arafat's part of this terrorist empire is one of the big factories of suicide bombers. I mean, he's got kindergarten camps, summer camps that teach little Palestinian children to become suicide bombers. So he's preparing not only the suicide killers of today, but the suicide pilots of tomorrow. But that is an issue I think that we can handle. The main point that I want to stress is that we don't approach this as a small problem of Israel or a small problem of America vis-a-vis bin Laden, because what we have here is something far worse. You know, in 1995, I wrote a book called Fighting Terrorism, and I said that if we don't arrest the tide of Islamic militant Islamic terrorism, then the next thing that will be is not a car bomb in the World Trade Center, but a nuclear bomb. Now, it wasn't a nuclear bomb. It was a 350-ton conventional bomb. But I'm sure you don't doubt, and nobody who listens to us now doubts, that if these maniacal movements and the regimes that support them develop nuclear weapons, they will use them. And then you're talking about not the horrendous casualties. And by the way, it breaks the heart just to listen to the stories that you gave earlier. Now imagine that the horrific toll, as horrific as it is today, would pale in comparison to hundreds of thousands or millions of casualties. What is important to understand is that you have to dismantle the entire terror empire, and especially before its main practitioners, the terror states of Iran and Iraq, acquire nuclear weapons. And this, I think, has been a wake-up call from hell. It is telling us, you have the power now to act, summon the will, because the terrorists have the will to destroy America, to destroy freedom, to destroy all of America's allies and all the democracies, Israel being simply on the front line. They have the will, but they don't have the power.
But simultaneously, to get back to my original question, should the United States become more deeply involved in trying to arrange a temporary truce, at least in your part of the world, between the PLO and your government?
Well, it's not a question of a truce. Arafat's true colors were revealed for those who want to see, and it's caused a massive shift of opinion in Israel. I would say unprecedented unanimity, even from the most conciliatory Israelis, because they realize now that he doesn't want a state next to Israel. He wants to eradicate Israel and uses terror to sap our will and hit us. In many ways, what you have here are two parallels. Osama bin Laden represents an Islamic militancy that wants to reverse history. They never accepted the rise of the West and its primacy in the world and the retreat of Islam. They want to reverse that, and therefore they have to destroy America in their fantasy. And to do that, they will attack America again and again. They have a constant intention. They may not be able to destroy America today, but they think they can bring it to its knees, and once they acquire nuclear weapons, they'll destroy America. Make no mistake about it. Yasser Arafat is more modest in his goals as part of this family. He wants to merely destroy Israel. But we have to get the entire terror network when there is still time. And nothing that you will do with Arafat, giving him the hills above Tel Aviv, is not going to make him stop. And he's quite irrelevant in this respect.
Bibi Netanyahu, thanks very much for being with us. Back in this country now, in the